Hey guys, and welcome back to Upshift. This is episode number 10, and we are, upon recording, a week out, which is crazy, pretty much. And today we are 12 days out, so this is my new routine, and this is like the new normal, so to speak. I'm trying to say two words at once, it's not going well. And I'm at the gym, as you can see, so we've just done some posing downstairs. So basically Cuba wanted me to check in daily in that lighting, because what was happening is at my house, every day the lighting would change, and also one day I'd have gas to take the photos, another day it would be on the tripod, and it'd just be an absolute nightmare. So I've come here to basically standardise the photos, and either I'll grab someone in the gym to take them, or Gaz is here to take them, or whatever. Luckily in my final few days, like I've said to you guys, I'm going to have Gaz here, so it'll be great to get him to take all the photos for me. But it's just allowing us to create standardised images basically for the rest of this prep, and I'm feeling much more happy about having an approach where I know I can compare one photo to another photo without thinking, oh, has the lighting changed? Or was there a bit more sun in the background this morning? Like, it's just less of a mind fuck, so to speak. So I send them across to Cuba. I also send them across to Ben Howard first thing in the morning. So Ben's seen my physique every single day, and so is Cuba. And usually I'll just give like a couple of passing comments on things, and then we'll make any daily changes as needed. So since the last Upshift, I haven't had any high days or anything like that. I've just been coming down, and I'm almost at a new low body weight, but I'm definitely more detailed than I was even when I hit the lower body weight than I am now. Because when I hit that lower body weight, I was much flatter, and as a result didn't see much of what was going on really. I was just too flat to notice because I hit that body weight fairly aggressively. But now we've gone back up, we're coming back down, the changes are much easier to predict. And I think, given like now, today it's Tuesday, so we've got basically a week until I refeed and start carbing up. So the fat loss direction that I'm heading in, I've got 7 days of it. Which in my head I'm like, I want to go like full attack mode and like just do everything possible. But I was just speaking to Gaz downstairs about how I'm looking through my photos in 2017 meticulously, because there was a certain point about August time where I looked really good, and I did two qualifiers at that time. I looked good for a junior, put it that way. And I had a really nice balance of fullness and conditioning, and that's what I believe I'm bringing like to the stage this for the British Finals, for the most important show. And after that, I remember speaking to some of the judges, and especially I spoke to John Harris, who's, if you haven't heard of John Harris, look him up. One of the greatest pro natural bodybuilders ever. And I had him on a podcast recently as well, so listen to that, it's on my YouTube. And he said to me after one of the qualifiers, which I did, the Northern UKDFBA qualifier, he said, just don't do any more really, just come in how you're looking right now, because you look great, you've got a good balance of fullness conditioning, and it really accentuates everything that's going on with your physique. And I sort of thought in my head, I was like, I'm gonna prove him wrong. Stupid young little bodybuilder that thought I could prove someone with that level of knowledge wrong. So instead, he proved me wrong by basically me dieting super hard, coming in at the finals, and luckily enough, I had just enough legs left. Like overall, like what I mean by legs is like I had just enough physique left to take that British title, but it was very close to boys that had more muscularity than me and more fullness. And I don't want to be beaten on like anything really this year, and I know that with my goals, they're very high, and that should land me up against some big boys to get what I really want. And that means I cannot be small, that means I cannot be flat, I cannot be stringy. Bodybuilding is not just about how many lines you have in your arse. So, and that for me is a really important thing to realise, that for me to chase another line in my arse or something, for the cost of pulling away muscularity from loads of other areas. And trust me, I see so many people doing this in natural bodybuilding especially. It's just chasing glutes, and the rest of their physique, like, yeah, they can do a cool like rear pose, Ben Howard style, where they tuck their glutes, and yeah, great, it looks amazing, but you haven't got the muscularity of Ben Howard. You know, very, very few people have. Ben's one of the most muscular dudes out there, and he also just gets peeled, and he also has ridiculous glute genetics. So little bodybuilders trying to copy that, they just end up looking terrible. And that's kind of what I did in 2017. So I'm not going to allow it to happen. Food's not changed. We just stayed on my static, normal like training days and rest days. And today, yeah, we're going to take you through a little bit of sort of my new routine. So it's nice and early morning here. I'm going to practice my. I'm going to do 2 rounds of core turns and a couple of rounds of mandatories as well. And then I'm also going to go through my routine once, which will be kept secret. And which you can watch on the live stream. Hopefully it will have audio so you can actually listen to the track. You can probably guess what the track's going to be. My vibe. And then we're going to do some steps, and then we'll be back at the house taking you through a little bit of that day at home, and then we'll be training pull later today, which will actually be the last session that Cuba hits here on UK soil before his show in Alicante. So I'm going to miss him quite a lot, and Meg, of course, but they're gone until they get back on Monday, so Wednesday until Monday, which is the longest amount of time I will not have seen them in a long, long time. So I'm just preparing myself emotionally for that today, you know. So, all right, let's take you through the day and we'll speak a bit. Guys, I'll do now basically the same length of time that I'd be on the walk with Barney, and don't worry, he's still getting walked, he's still being looked after, but yeah, I'll do the same length of time that I would walk him, which is around about 35 minutes. To be honest, like, if I'm brutally honest with you guys, I definitely don't prefer this, but for now it keeps my head on a bit more, because I'm not gonna lie, like walking a dog in the pouring rain and the cold when you're really close is, Hugo will attest to this, quite testing, especially with a puppy. So I'd rather just keep my head on a little bit more, have this time to actually spend in the dry, because I've got all my clients, I've got 4 clients competing with me at the UKDFBA Finals, which is very, very manageable. Like, put it this way, I had 10 clients compete last year in the UKDFBA Finals and 9 in the BNBF, so I've done a lot more than this, but I need to be able to get back to all of their morning check-ins, just like I sent mine to Cuba. They all send them theirs to me, of course, and so for me to get back to them, I can just do voice notes, or I can bounce back and forth messages a lot easier than having to worry about a 1-year-old dog running off and getting lost in the woods. So for the next 2.5 weeks until my prep's done, this will be the routine, and then as soon as I'm finished, I'll be back outside with big old Barnes. So no Barney feature. Well, we'll probably feature when we get home. It's hard not to feature him in these videos. But yeah, guys. So other than that, like, yeah, I'll just be on the phone for the next 35 minutes, sort of boxing off all these check-ins that I've got to do, and then, or at least the immediate ones that can be responded to, and then we will go from there. I actually also like getting outside, and I think this is something that you can take away from the video. Daylight exposure in the morning is one of the best things you can do for your body. It's amazing, like getting outside, even if it's a little bit murky, it's a lot better than being in here for your body. Like actual blue light exposure, getting outside, resetting your circadian rhythm, and allowing your body to fall into that pattern. And I've already noticed, like, as much as my sleep is good, my deep sleep has dropped off, And I genuinely think that's just because I've not been outside having that blue light exposure in the morning. So I'm looking forward to bringing that back, but for now this routine works. All right, see you in a bit. Alright guys, so we are back from the gymnasium, having my second black caffeinated beverage of the day from my Nespresso machine. So it's actually a caramel cookie flavour pod, this. Check that out. Whoosh. So as you can see, my Nespresso tree is a bit empty. It's like a Christmas tree on January 2nd. Just looks horrible, doesn't it? But I have ordered some more and they're coming today. My favourite is the Stormio. So if you have a favourite Nespresso pod, could you please let me know what it is and I will definitely try it. I've got like the Virtue one, so they're the larger pods, some of the ones that maybe are the smaller ones I can't have. But yeah, excited to drink this beverage, to be honest, and bring me back to life. Caffeine at the moment is a little higher than what I'd like to see on a typical sort of off-season plan, or at least at the beginning phase of a prep, and this is something that I use as a tool. So obviously for me, like fat loss compounds and other stimulants that basically create a load of systemic fatigue within the body and drive what is called a sympathetic dominant state. So you'll have two states of your autonomic nervous system. May sound a bit wordy, but essentially all you need to know is that when you train, you elevate that sympathetic activity, you elevate that sort of fight or flight mentality in the gym, and that's a stressful environment for your body. It's a stressful environment for your body to mobilize fat, lose fat. It's also a stressful environment for your body to actually recover and build muscle. So that sympathetic dominant environment we want to avoid as much as possible outside of the training window. Caffeine and any stimulants, any fat loss compounds, for example, if you're an assisted athlete, will elevate that sympathetic response. Okay, so using it as a tool sensibly. So for me at the moment, I have 3 caffeine servings per day. I have one first thing in the morning when I wake, because this morning before we went to the gym I've done 3 check-ins, and then I have one when I come back, and then I have one pre-workout. So that's about right for me at the moment, and I believe that's anywhere between 600 to 700 milligrams of caffeine, depends as to what coffees I have, etc. It's around about there or thereabouts, which to be honest isn't even that much. If you're the type of person that's having couple of coffees a day, a stimulant pre-workout, you could quite easily be over a gram of caffeine a day, driving this sympathetic dominant response, and then having problems basically trying to sleep, trying to recover, trying to grow, trying to mobilize fat. However, if you do want to do an even better job at managing the autonomic nervous system, you can take Helicon. This is not an ad, but it is actually a very, very good supplement for bringing you back into that restful state. So during prep, this is like I was just talking to Gaz about my non-negotiable supplements. This for me is a non-negotiable supplement. This is something that I have to have daily for me to be able to switch off, and this has massively improved my sleep, improves my moods, reduces anxiety, like the feeling of like when you're prepping, you're constantly thinking of the future, you're not thinking of the present. It grounds me a lot more. And to be fair, like before I was taking this supplement Helicon from Train by JP, I was taking ashwagandha, L-theanine, magnesium glycinate, all as separate supplements, but this all in one. So, and to be honest, considering the quality, a very, very affordable supplement as well at $29.99 for a tub. So, oh shit, my phone's falling off. Yeah, fantastic. So that's that, and we're gonna crack on with a few more check-ins, get back to the ones that aren't in comp prep, like the ones that I have to do on my iMac, and then we'll take you through little bit of meals. However, they haven't really changed, so we don't really need to take you through too much of that. So that's caffeine for you guys. Better. It is hard to devolume, it's hard to back off. But ultimately, mate, like one of the wins, and you've noticed it, is your ability to actually do it. You know, go through the devolume phase and see the benefits of doing so. So well done for that. So guys, we're at meal 1, and the only thing that has changed with meal 1 has been the addition of cinnamon. So actually, I think we're having a conversation at Starbucks about cinnamon, and that we're all putting it on stuff like in previous preps, and I was like, I used to put cinnamon on everything. I haven't done it on like anything in this prep. The issue is now I've gone a bit mad on cinnamon. I think you know when you're pretty close is when cinnamon adds an immense amount of flavour to a meal. All it is just, you know, powder, right? But yeah, so normal sludge, berries, trust me, a bit of cinnamon on top, really just dusts it off quite nicely. And then we actually have the new Vegemite from Trained by JP. I do put a little bit of extra flavouring in it because it is unflavoured, so I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's a very, very affordable all-round greens and multivit. It does taste like pond water, you know, it does not taste good. I'm not gonna bullshit. It does taste pretty grim. So I would recommend flavouring it with like a flavoured glutamine or a flavoured BCAA or EAA or something like that, just to make the beverage a little bit more enjoyable. And give it a good shake as well, because it does tend to sort of accumulate in the back of the throat a little bit as well. It's just great review, isn't it? But it is a good product, right? So, right, we're gonna eat this meal, crack on with some more work, and we'll see you in a bit. As you can see, guys, I've been massively volumizing my cream of rice. It's 100 grams there. So, like, when you first started watching the Upshift series in, funnily enough, episode 1, you'll have seen that I just made it with the hot water from the, about to say the microwave. No, the kettle. So I now obviously still do that, but I also combine it with several microwave trips. Stir, add more water, stir, add more water. So it does definitely take me a little bit longer to produce the finished product, but it's a much more satiating product now that it has more volume. So, and again, this is something that is used as a tool, so it's why at the start of my prep, and to be honest, up until about 6 weeks out, everything was very easy appetite wise, and that's the way it kind of should be to a degree. You definitely shouldn't feel like you're at death's door from the start of a prep. It should be relatively straightforward for the first, you know, good 3/4 of it, if I'm honest. Especially if you're doing a long prep. You know, if I was prepping for the 25, 26 weeks that I prepped for, and it felt like horrendous from day 1, that would be a terrible sign. A terrible sign. Imagine just feeling like ass for like 20 plus weeks. That's why you also don't start too lean either. You want to start on a good start point. Obviously, the leaner you start, the better position you'll be in to do a shorter prep. But at the same time, if you start too lean and you've not got everything reset in terms of like hormonally, physiologically, you're not going to be in a good position to actually, you know, lose fat well. So it's a fine balance, and I think me and Cuba have talked about it a lot, and I think we both started maybe a little bit too soft, a little bit too heavy, and especially for body parts like my glutes, they've taken a lot longer to really arrive and turn up in terms of condition. partly because they got a bit too soft in the off season. So for me, more posing updates in the trunks in the off season, because I just hid them with my boxers and covered up the fat glutes whilst everything else looked okay-ish. But you always look back on your progress photos when you're dieting down, and you look back on your off-season ones and you're like, oh, I got a bit heavy there. But it's only because you're in like stage condition that you make that comparison, when in reality I'll probably look at them comparatively when I'm in the off-season and have an off-season mindset, and I'll think, well, actually I wasn't too bad. So yeah, anyway, just a bit of a general chit chat whilst prepping meal 2 and meal 3. We're training a little bit earlier today because Cuba has got to be up at, I believe, like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. tomorrow for his flight to Alicante. So we are training a little bit earlier today so he can get nice and early to bed. So meal 2, meal 3 are the same meals they've always been, the identical bodybuilder bro meal of chicken and rice. So, but yeah, I love this routine at the moment. I really like these meals. The only thing I think I'll do in the off season is just literally start to increase the quantities of these current meals that I do have. I really like the nutrient timing that I have at the moment. It digests super good. The routine of my day is good with these meals. Get 3 meals in pre-training. The only thing I might add an extra meal, and there might go up to six whole food meals and an intra at some point, depending on how I feel. Yeah, the veg hasn't changed either. I haven't increased the veg on these meals. I've managed to stay at the same amount without feeling like I'm dying. And I've increased them a little bit on rest days, because again, food volume on rest days with carbohydrates being a little bit lower tends to go up a little bit. So that's it. We're going to eat this meal, crack on with a little bit more work, and then meet the guys at Starbucks, and we'll maybe do a little bit of a chat there about something that we can chat about. Well, you want to get involved, don't you? Ah! Got scissors. I won't use the scissors on the dog. Look, I'll pet him. Here. Are you right? Yeah, thanks. Can I get 5 iced Americanos large?
both absolutely no steps. They'll just get better and better. You can tell when your legs are always fucking a bit inflamed when you're walking.
Yeah.
When you're resting them,
they look sharper.
So you need to fucking chill the fuck out with them.
No steps. 4 days of no steps. So Cuba's the king of knowing exactly how to do 0 steps. Okay guys, so we just finished up pull. This was Cuba's last session on home soil at Ultraflex before he flies off tomorrow morning to Alicante, as I said earlier in the vid. So yeah, a little bit emotional because I definitely will miss him, and I'll miss obviously training with him for I think four days, 4 sessions that we're going to miss and not have Cuba here. But it's what it is, he'll be back soon, and obviously I wish him all the best of luck, him and Meg, and it's just been such a pleasure to be surrounded by those two this whole prep. Great people, do more than you could ever imagine for me, especially this prep. They've gone like above and beyond for me, so I just want to give my gratitude to those guys, and I'm sure they will kill it. As this will be released, they will be on stage in like 2 days time, so this will be Friday, they'll be on stage on Sunday, so, and you can check out the live stream. I'm sure there'll be details released on the IFBB page of where you can find that. In terms of the session itself, it was really good today. Honestly, it was probably one of the best versions of this rotation that I've had in probably like a good 3 or 4 sessions, because I remember the one with David, I was sick. The one after that felt particularly crap because I was just having an off day. Today it felt really strong going in, felt a bit draggy by the time I got to like the bent over row, but after that really picked up momentum and started like, you know, running on gas, so to speak. So yeah, it was good. And numbers across the board were, I note them when they go up, like on previous rotation, with a little green pen underneath. That's why you have different colours in your pen. It's a good thing. And pretty much everything was green. So on last rotation, I was up on everything, which is awesome. So, and at this stage, to take those little wins is massive for this. You know, like going in and almost like regressing or sometimes even maintaining is not enough. So having those little wins whilst maintaining accuracy is still definitely a positive. And I've really tapered back on my bent over rows because they were looking terrible, as everyone reminded me on Cuba's video. So yeah, they were bad. They were getting really sloppy. So I've turned down the loading on those, and now they're looking a little better. So it's really hard to stabilise though still with the slight drop in body weight. Anyway, so we're gonna head home. We will actually just wrap up the video here because we've got plenty of content from earlier today. So I have got one more meal that is my Greek yogurt meal. So just Greek yogurt and berries and a bit of dark chocolate, and then I'll be hitting the hay, and nice and early as well. I'll be doing some meal prep this evening, and then we will see you for the 3, 2 and 1 days out videos, which I cannot wait to do. And Skaz's going to come with me to the hotel. We're going to stay a couple of nights before the show, and we'll take you through the whole peaking process, exactly what we're going to be doing. We pretty much finalised that today, me and Cuba, as to what was going to work well, because we were really happy with the look today. So we just reverse engineer that a little bit and make sure I make weight. And that's it. Another episode done. Appreciate you guys watching. And as always, subscribe, like, comment, check out trainbyjp.com, and we will speak very soon. Cheers guys.